this Christmas.
Manx Radio's Update with Dave Moore.
The time is 5 o'clock. You are listening to Manx Radio. I am Dave Moore, and this is Update. Welcome to the programme. Half an hour of the latest news in the Isle of Man, plus Manx sport, business, travel updates, along with the newsmakers in person. Coming up, the Enterprise Minister's apologising to hoteliers for comments he made during July's sitting of Tynwald. Meanwhile, the Health Minister is also saying sorry for inaccuracies in a Tynwald response regarding Ramsey's minor injury unit. And Treasury is being urged to ensure those who use the MiCard system can still obtain their funds once it closes down. That's all coming up in the next half hour. But first of all, the Update News headlines with Siobhan Fletcher. Faster Mai.
Tynwald has been debating the proposed area plan for the north and west this afternoon, a framework that would guide development across much of the island. Several local authorities and MHKs have raised concerns about housing, infrastructure and the consultation process. Meanwhile, Tynwald has voted to delay a decision on appointing a new non-executive director to the Manx Care Board. Backbench MHKs raised concerns after learning that the candidate, Margaret Pratt, lives off-island. The Bear Macree will undertake a trial sailing to Larne this week. During the government conference last month, the Isle of Man Steam Packet Company said it was exploring the practicality and feasibility of improved services to Ireland. And the Isle of Man has become the first Crown dependency to be added to the Radon Risk Map. Published this morning, it shows where higher indoor levels are more likely. Looking further afield, a teenager will spend more than 15 years in prison for murdering his classmate in front of other students at a school in Sheffield. Mohammed Umar Khan stabbed 15-year-old Harvey Wilgoose with a hunting knife in February. The only remaining candidate to chair the UK's national inquiry into grooming gangs says he no longer wants the role. Jim Gamble said he felt there was a lack of confidence amongst some of the victims about his previous job as a police officer. He also claims politicians were point scoring over the issue.
Everybody needs to park their own petty, personal or political issues and focus on what's right for victims. In stepping back, I am trying to do that. But these other individuals need to stop playing games with this.
And Bon Jovi is returning to the UK and Ireland after nearly 6 years. The rock band will be touring next summer. There are your headlines. I'll be back with your news at 6.
Thank you, Siobhan. Small risk of 1 or 2 isolated showers this evening, but more likely to get showers arriving overnight with freshening north-northwest winds later. Minimum temperature 8 Celsius. Further showers tomorrow morning, chiefly in the south and the southwest of the island, but otherwise bright, with sunny intervals developing more widely in the afternoon. Northwest winds will be fresh to strong until later. Top temperature 12 degrees Celsius, and sunny intervals and scattered showers on Friday. Mostly moderate winds until later.
Manx Glass and Glazing can supply and install single, double and triple glazing. Call 674 573 or visit the showroom on the Snugborough Trading Estate.
A great night's sleep got even better with Zed's Bedding Store. From quality Beldorm bed linen and mattress protectors, fleece and woven throws to luxury duvets from the fine bedding company. Zed's Bedding Ramsey, next to Isle of Man Bank.
Many people are struggling. You can help by volunteering or making a donation to Isle of Man Food Bank, whether it be food or essential items or financial support. Please call 646 999, brought to you by Descon Office Interiors.
For a wide range of wood-burning stoves and a complete installation service, visit The Snug in Ramsey. And we don't stop there. Kiln-dried firewood and full aftercare service, including chimney sweeps and maintenance. Call The Snug in Ramsey.
Reach the Isle of Man's biggest radio audience with Manx Radio. Airtime, sponsorship and digital opportunities available. For more information on how we can help your business grow its market share, contact the friendly, experienced team on sales at manxradio.com.
You're listening to the Isle of Man's quintessential daily news and current affairs roundup. Update on Manx Radio.
Tynwald is back, returning after the summer recess, and it comes as no surprise really that they have a fairly packed order paper. Christian Jones is in the Tynwald chamber. He joins us live now here on Manx Radio FM. First of all, Christian, give us a rundown of what's been happening so far, please.
Yeah, first to my Dave. Indeed, episode 2 of Tynwald, definitely more drama today. Perhaps the characters are getting back into the swing of things, dusting off the parliamentary cobwebs. Like you say, we're well into the order paper. We began by going through the Department Plan for Home Affairs, the final list of priorities for the year of this administration for them and beyond, obviously, too. In essence, though, it's had to drop a handful of legislative work in order to meet capacity limitations. Something we often hear is there's only so many hours in the day for drafters to be drafting. I think if they had their way, they would have lots more drafters working all hours of the day so they could get everything done. But alas, that's not the case. So several of the longer-term reforms, including new legislation on firearms, hate crime and sentencing, have been delayed until the next administration, alongside an overhaul of the island's information sharing framework and replacement of older surveillance laws. So the department actually says that the plan reflects the department's need to prioritise limited resources on the most critical and deliverable objectives.
So can you tell us anything else that's been going on, Christian?
Yeah, of course. Well, a couple of things. I'll just touch on this briefly. Oncan MHK Julie Edge, she attempted to veto an off-island appointment to Manx Care's board as a non-executive director. That was ultimately adjourned until the next month, so next month is November. For various reasons, the Council of Ministers seemed content to do that on this occasion, but undoubtedly what has become probably the biggest talking point of today is the debate into the North and West Area Plan. Undeniably a controversial document, lots of impassioned speeches.
And anything else we should know about, Christian?
Yeah, so sure. In effect, I'll just give you a rundown of what the Northwest Area Plan does. It aims to support regeneration, protect the environment, align with wider government strategies and cover all parts of the North and West, as you might guess. So that's Ramsey and Peel, Michael, German, Patrick, Jerby, Andres, Bride, Balaf, Lazaire and Goff. I think I've got all of them. And
looking forward to tomorrow, what can we expect?
Yeah, so tomorrow's going to be probably quite a packed day. I suspect they will definitely not get through all of the order papers today. We've got 48 items on the order paper in total. We're only on item 13, so there is a long way to go. I suspect we could even go late today. We will definitely get through a solid chunk of tomorrow. There may even be the potential to go into a fourth day. I don't think that will be the case. I think we will finish tomorrow, but it's definitely looking like the end is definitely not in sight.
OK, Christian Jones reporting there for Manx Radio FM Live from Tynwald. And staying with Tynwald, members have urged the Treasury to ensure the 1,000+ people still with MiCards have bank accounts to transfer to or alternative ways of collecting their payments. The card service, which allows people to collect their benefits or pension in cash at Isle of Man post office branches, will be shut down at the end of the year. Treasury Minister Alex Allinson says work still needed to find out who requires what, but members say definite solutions are needed.
We've known about this issue for many months now, and several of us members have brought it up, and we're now only 2 months away. That fills me with a lot of concern.
The written answer doesn't actually detail the alternatives that are being explored. What the written answer says is Treasury are actively exploring alternative solutions, which, funnily enough, is exactly what they said in April of this year. It's exactly what they said in October last year. Is the Minister aware that he has 1,200 people, according to his own data, in receipt of benefits reliant on the MiCard system that is going to be turned off in 2 months? And that in 2 months all these people will need to have an alternative system in place? Does he not think he's cutting it a bit close to the wire to still be actively looking at alternative solutions 2 months before he's going to turn the system off on all these people?
MHK's Tim Glover and Laurie Hooper there. The Treasury Minister says his department's written to all the recipients of benefits who use the MiCards, asking if they need any advice.
We've been trying to work very much with the users of MiCard to allow them to transition. We've also been reaching out to a whole range of agencies to manage this transition. And we are very advanced in terms of making some of the financial arrangements. But as I've already said, we don't have that data on exactly what some of the people, whether they have a bank account or not. We have asked them, we've reached out to them, but there are people who for whatever reason don't want to tell us. So some of that data is still lacking. people will be told of the alternatives as soon as possible and well before Christmas. And certainly in terms of fund transfers from the existing system, we will arrange that to whichever alternative they want to take up, whether that's bank transfer or an alternative way of getting cash to them. I think, again, this is not about a policy about benefits. It's a policy very much about the transition to far more electronic and digital solutions across our island.
You're listening to the Isle of Man's quintessential daily news and current affairs roundup. Update on Manx Radio.
The Health Minister is apologising for inaccuracies in a Tynwald written response, question response I should say, regarding Ramsey's minor injuries unit. The answer, published early this month, revealed that the MIU would stay shut at weekends due to costs. However, it's now been revealed that those closures will not be in place until further notice, as originally stated, but rather the situation is to be reviewed in mid-November, with the aim of partially reopening at that point. Claire Christian told Tynwald the Manx Care Board approved a further 6-month closure from May the 14th this year.
This recommendation by the Manx Care Executive Team was made based on evidence presented by the Urgent Care Senior Leadership Team, which acknowledged that while the staffing situations with regards to Ramsey and Noble's minor injury units had modestly improved, there were still fewer nurses than were required to keep both units open safely 7 days per week. Also, the impact on Noble's emergency department attendances showed that the weekend closure had not significantly affected ED demand, and the impact on meds showed no significant variation in demand observed other than standard seasonal variation, and also that no formal complaints or MCALS contacts were received relating to the weekend closure. Unfortunately, the decision by the Manx Care Board to approve a further temporary closure was not communicated to the relevant parties. This resulted in both the department and the public not being fully informed about the status of the Ramsey MIU. In addition, it also meant the requirements of Section 8 of the Act were not fulfilled. Manx Care is exploring options to enable weekend openings during mornings only, including an X-ray provision from mid-November. We hope this will allow a period of review to take place both within the auspices of the Urgent and Emergency Care Transformation Programme, as well as consultation with the public around the future operating model for the MIU. Given that staffing issues continue to impact ambulatory urgent care services covering both Ramsey and Noble's MIU, the weekend openings will only be possible if the staffing situation allows, Mr. President.
Health Minister Claire Christian in Tynwald. And seeing as we're talking about apologies, let's continue with the Enterprise Minister apologising to hoteliers over comments he made in July's Tynwald sitting while interjecting during a debate. Tim Johnston made the apology in court, describing it as incorrect, adding he's written to businesses, and he's also been speaking to Manx Radio's Phil Gaughan.
It was a foot in mouth moment from me, and which I held my hand up afterwards and admitted it wasn't the right thing to say. It was in the heat of a debate, and our hotel occupancy through the summer, we do get busy, but to say that statement wasn't right. So I wrote to members after that sitting and apologised and said that I would be making a personal statement to the next sitting at Tynwald, and I also had some correspondence with some hoteliers and took the opportunity to apologise to them, and I'm aware that obviously the visit agency have also engaged with them on other matters, as they do generally anyway.
And presumably what you were saying was, or what you meant to say was, sometimes the hotels are full in the summer. Was that it, or...?
Yeah, look, I think, we all recognise the challenges there are in the visitor economy, but at the same time, we are seeing those numbers increasing. As I say, we're back up, I think last year, 330,000 visitors. It's fair to say that at times our hotels are very full, or very busy, but clearly that's to say that as across the whole season is not the case. And some of it was also linked to sort of a conversation we've been having around the Grand Prix and the challenges around there of hotels being pretty busy then anyway, plus then the challenge of how we find a capacity for more visitors. So, but as I say, I'm not making excuses for the fact is that what I said was wrong.
Manx Radio Travel, driven by Quayside Tyres and Service Centre.
And let's begin in Douglas Harbour, where the passengers are currently waving their caps at us as they come past the breakwater, so the Manxman is very much on time. Down at the airport, in terms of departures, the Loganair flight to Liverpool is due to leave on time at 7:15. However, the EasyJet Gatwick has a 20-minute delay. It was due to go at 7:30. It's now going at 8:10. Loganair to Edinburgh is also showing us on time at 8:15. In terms of the arrivals, we're expecting Loganair Manchester to land at 6:15. The EasyJet, as we mentioned, was a delay. That 20 minutes also applies to the arrivals. It was due in at 7 from Gatwick. It's now looking at 7:20. Meanwhile, the Loganair Edinburgh is due in at 7:45. The Loganair London City is due at 8:10, and the Liverpool Loganair is due at 8:50.
Quayside Tyres and Service Centre, with 1 year's free engine warranty from Castrol. Get more with
The Isle of Man has become the first Crown dependency to be added to the radon risk map. It shows what the chances are of having a high radon reading in a property in each 5 kilometres square of the island. And if you're wondering what radon is, well, it's a naturally occurring odourless, colourless and radioactive gas. It can be a health risk when it builds up to high levels in enclosed spaces like houses. And it's formed from the natural breakdown of uranium in soil, etc., etc., etc. And it can enter the building through cracks in floors and walls and what have you. Tracy Gooding is the Principal Radiation Protection Scientist at the UK Health Security Agency, and she's been talking to Amy Griffiths about it.
Radon is a naturally occurring radioactive gas. It comes from natural sources of uranium and radium that you get in all rocks and soils. It radioactively decays, and when that uranium and radium radioactively decays, it becomes radon, which is a gas. So as a gas, it can escape and it can work its way into buildings and build up to reasonably high levels indoors. And if you're exposed to high levels of radon over a long period of time, it increases your risk of lung cancer.
Can you just talk to me a little bit about what this map is and what it's going to show people?
It's showing radon potential. It's not showing individual results. We've measured over 700 houses on the island and we've combined them statistically to produce a map. It's on 5 kilometre grid squares. So you can find your own home or your workplace. Where does it sit in that 5 kilometre grid square? And what is the radon potential? What are your chances of having a high radon level?
How are the island's radon measurements generally?
It's a mixed bag. We have a thing called a radon affected area. If you have more than a 1% chance of having a high radon concentration, we call that a radon affected area. The maximum radon potential on the island is 11%. So you're still more likely than not to have a radon level that's absolutely fine. But there are some areas of the island, just north of the island, where you have less than a 1% chance. That's not a radon affected area. But most of the island is. So that's why we're trying to raise awareness.
Why has this map been commissioned?
It's just to bring it into line with the United Kingdom. We've done radon mapping there for many years, and it's good to bring the Isle of Man as the first overseas territory to bring that into line and have a radon map. So there wasn't any particular concern with the island. It's really just bringing the island up to speed. There's no such thing as a radon-free building. You will find radon in every building, but it's just when it gets to certain levels that you really need to be more concerned about it and to fix it where you can.
That's the Principal Radiation Protection Scientist at the UK Health Security Agency, Tracy Gooding, talking there to Manx Radio's Amy Griffiths. And that map, it's available online and you can find a link to it via manxradio.com. And if you have any questions about it, you can also email radon, R-A-D-O-N, project@gov.im. You're listening to Manx Radio FM. This is Update with myself, Dave Moore. The Treasury Minister says the rating and valuation consultation has drawn attention to the instability of the current system. Dr. Alex Allinson told Tynwald in response to a question from Arbury, Castletown and Maloo MHK Jason Morehouse, his department updated the consultation following feedback from local authorities.
In response to some of the local authorities, we have upgraded the consultation document. And again, I'd stress to the Honourable Member, this is a consultation with the updated figures provided by the various local authorities. In terms of a reduction in rateable income coming into the local authorities, should one of the models be followed in terms of either a 5-year cap or a discount based on 20%, 33 or 50%, those are outlined within the new revised Appendix B. How those would affect an individual ratepayer is up to the local authority. They set the rates, and Treasury do not set the rates, as the Honourable Member is aware. Various local authorities, when they've been provided with shortfalls or increased expenditure, have applied that more on business rates rather than domestic rates. Others have made significant cost savings and so absorbed some of those issues. One of the problems with the local authorities that have quarries within their area is that rateable income can vary year on year. And so I think what this consultation has drawn attention to is this instability and the need to have a far better way of calculating rates going into those local authorities that have quarries to give that financial suitability and stability. Because as the Honourable Member is aware, one of the quarries, Pulvaish in Malou, for several years wasn't functioning at all and then came back into operation. So again, dealing with some of that income when you've got a local authority is incredibly important.
You're listening to the Isle of Man's quintessential daily news and current affairs roundup. Update on Manx Radio.
David Cowan is a member of Tynwald's Youth Select Committee, and he says creating a child-first policy is a good step as long as government actually acts upon it. The policy, which has been received by Parliament, is designed to protect and promote the rights of all children, including the island's most vulnerable, those in care and those with complex needs or disabilities.
It's a policy that, to be honest, I'm slightly amazed it's taken this long. I think young people are the heart of any nation, really, and they should be the heart of any decision making. We should always be looking to the future and how this is going to impact our young people, because they are the future of the island.
And what do you hope this change is going to bring about? Because there are lots of really good words, but the specifics as to what's going to be delivered presumably are still to be determined.
Yes, I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head there with the slight issues with this policy at present, in that I really hope government will take it on board and will actually implement it when making policy decisions, when looking forward to their current plans. I think that at present this obviously isn't a statutory document, it is not binding, it still takes government to actually actively implement it, but I think done right it could have a massively positive impact. But like I say, I think we'll wait and see. It is an election year after all.
And as far as the Youth Select Committee is concerned, have you had any involvement, any direct involvement in this?
So we haven't had any direct involvement in developing the policy itself. However, our views have been sought as part of the consultation process. The team that have written the policy did come to us and ask for our views on it, asked for any input we had, and let's say our opinions on what they should be looking at when developing it.
You're listening to Manx Radio FM. This is Update. We've still got sport to come with Rob Pritchard, but before we do, let me tell you that there's an opportunity for anyone who's being homeschooled to find out about further education opportunities at UCM tomorrow. That's Thursday, October the 23rd. Students in years 10 and 11 will be able to take tour of the Homefield Road and William Kennish campuses. Roxy Langstaff from the college has been talking to Amy Griffiths.
We're hosting tours for home educated students. They're an opportunity for the students and a parent to come round and have a look at the facilities that we have a look at the different courses that are available. We're offering it to those who'd be in year 10 and year 11 so that they can make informed decisions about the courses that they might want to look at when they've finished their GCSEs.
What kind of qualifications does somebody who's been home educated need, or do they need any?
So we offer courses at a wide range of levels. So if you were coming into us and you didn't have any GCSEs, we have our level 1 courses, which mean that people who maybe haven't attained what they want to in their GCSE year have got an option available. And again, we have other courses that are a level 3 qualification. So if they have completed their GCSEs to A's and C's standards, then they've got options there as well. So we really have something for everybody, and whatever your level at, there's something that you can do at UCM.
And do you get much interest from students who've been home educated?
We do. We seem to have a number who come to us our open evening, which is really why we wanted to put on this event. We have some fantastic opportunities that we had for students who are in school. We go out to their assemblies. They come to us for taster sessions. So we really thought it would be a lovely opportunity for those who are at home educated to have a bit of time at UCM within their group to be able to find out more about what we have available to them.
That's Roxy Langstaff talking there from the UCM. It's now time to go to the sports desk where Rob Pritchard is waiting. Fast am I, Rob?
Fast am I. Well, first off today, Manx pro cyclist Matthew Bostock is beginning his campaign at the 2025 UCI Track World Championships. The Island rider is part of the Great Britain men's endurance squad for the event taking place in Santiago in Chile from today until the 26th of October. He's one of 22 competitors representing GB at the meeting in total, with the national team due to take part in the men's endurance, men's sprint, women's endurance and women's sprint races. Well, Bostock got underway for the men's team pursuit qualifying in the last hour, which is still ongoing. Should Great Britain make the cut in that event, the first round proper of the men's team pursuit is currently scheduled for 11:18 p.m. UK time or 7:18 p.m. local time. The UCI considers these championships as its leading annual track event, with 22 titles up for grabs, 11 for men and 11 for women. Elsewhere, former Ireland resident and rugby union star Bevan Rodd has been named in the England training squad for the national side's upcoming autumn internationals. He's one of 36 players picked by Steve Borthwick for the 3-day camp ahead of England's campaign in the upcoming Quilter Nations Series. The 2023 Isle of Man Sportsman of the Year is one of 7 Sale Sharks players to receive the call-up. England's first match of the Quilter Nations Series will take place on Saturday, the 1st of November at 3:10 p.m. against Australia at the Allianz Stadium in London. And in motorsport, dates have been confirmed for the 2026 edition of the Northwest 200. Organisers have announced next year's meeting on the Triangle Circuit will take place between Monday the 4th of May and Saturday the 9th of May. The programme will feature 9 races in total for Superbike, Superstock, Supersport and Super Twin machines. Qualifying will take place on Wednesday the 6th of May and Thursday the 7th of May, with roads around the course in Northern Ireland closing from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. on both days. Racing is then scheduled to start from the Thursday evening between 4:45 p.m. and 9 p.m. with the opening Superbike, Superstock and Supersport races all over 4 laps. A planned rest day on the Friday will then be followed by the second and final race day on Saturday the 9th of May. 6 races are planned on that Saturday, 2 Superbike, 2 Super Twin and 1 each in Superstock and Supersport. And the meeting will finish just over 2 weeks before the 2026 Isle of Man TT races, which is scheduled to take place from the 25th of May to the 6th of June.
We've just got about 20 seconds left. The one thing the Northwest has had these last 4 years, I think that we love here for 2 weeks, is good weather.
It has been blessed with good weather, hasn't it? Yes, and I'm sure they'll be hoping for the same again.
Yep, so fingers crossed. But I suppose it was no surprise that those dates were coming out as soon as the British Superbike calendar confirmed their first round would be at Alton Park the weekend before. So that's it. Thank you to Rob Pritchard. And that's it for Update. Compiled from the resources of Manx Radio's news department, and thank you newsreader Siobhan Fletcher. Tynwald coverage continues on Manx Radio medium wave or the AM service this evening, and it will continue again tomorrow. In between those sessions, it will be Manx Radio Gold. Meanwhile, we'll continue right here on Manx Radio FM. And if you have a comment on our news agenda, a story you think we should be covering, or just want to say hello, from near or far, email update@manxradio.com. And the stories you heard on this programme, much more Manx news, plus interviews and podcasts, the web's biggest source of Manx videos, are all at manxradio.com and via the free Manx Radio app. Just give Manx Radio a like on Facebook, follow us on X, subscribe to the Manx Radio YouTube channel. Maybe one day we'll get TikTok running as well. So anyway, but that's it from myself for Update for tonight. All being well, I'll be back again tomorrow at 5.